Okay, so right on time. This is my Fargesia robusta screen that is looking worse for wear. Pretty spindly looking because all of these were bent to the ground during the ice storm this winter, and when it came back up, a lot of leaves got ripped off. But that's okay. I'm pretty sure it will resprout new growth. So the existing canes will have more leaves on them, and the new canes will be nice and full, and they are sprouting. You can see now that the soil is warming up, they're really starting to go. And these generally, because it's a clumping bamboo, you'll find that in most directions around the main clump you will start to see the new shoots. Each year they get bigger and taller, so I think it caps out around 15 feet. I see things that say 12 to 15. You can even see inside there's some shooting in there too. So you will get some that kind of fill in the middle, but generally speaking they kind of come on the outside, and sometimes they kind of go on an angle. That's okay, they'll curve right up to meet the sun. You can see them, they're really going. So you can use, if you want to use fertilizer on your bamboo, because it is a grass, just your regular lawn fertilizer will work great. I find that these clumps, for me, they were at least doubling in size, or the number of canes per year. It was at least doubling. Now there's quite a few in each clump. Some of these clumps only had maybe a dozen canes. Some of them might have had 20 when I first got them. And they were easily replacing themselves each year. Now they're getting a little bit bigger, so I'm not sure if there's kind of like hits a limit as to how many it can put out. If you break these off, they will stop growing. I have had my dogs do that. So that is an easy way to keep it tidy. You know, if I didn't want this one here, I could just cut that one off and it wouldn't come back. Or the one that's sprouting right beside it, I could just knock that off and it would stop. So that's why I planted them here, because they're very easy to maintain. These ones are a little bit shadier. The further I go down the fence, the more shade they get. So these ones are always a little bit behind, although they are coming up quite a bit. And those, for me, early April is when they, well, I guess March. I mean, we're only a few days away from April, but generally like the beginning of April roughly is when I start to see them. And it takes about a month or so, maybe 6 weeks from when they first appear to when they are at their full height. And I have more back there, and I have more over here. I actually have older mature clumps with small younger clumps. I bought the small clumps and they were just taking too long. So see, they're quite small canes, because this was separated off of a young plant, and I don't see any new shoots off these little ones, but the big ones are shooting. So this one, that's about as big a cane as I'll normally see. They aren't as big as the running bamboos for sure, unfortunately, but you don't have to worry about containing them. They're very easy plants. And then the older ones get a little bit more yellow coloration to them. So like year 1, they're very green. Year 2 and 3 is when they start to kind of get a bit more yellow. And then even if you wanted to, you could trim them. You can just pop all these off if you wanted to expose the canes. So like along the fence, if I didn't want the leaves in there. This one here has actually lost quite a few leaves. I'm not sure why this one was worse off, but it's a smaller clump, but there you can actually get a really good shot of what it looks like and the colors you can expect. So comes out green, over time starts to get a bit of a yellowish color, but makes a really great evergreen screen. And when they rustle in the wind, it's actually kind of a nice sound. I mean, you can see here it's quite dense. You can't see through that. I have a sidewalk here, and people used to look over my fence because it's quite low, and this has solved that. They're leaning a bit for me. From the ice, it kind of pulled them down, but I would suspect in about 6 weeks this is going to look pretty good again. Over here it was a bit protected by this pine tree, so this side looks a lot better. But real easy, you know, prune is needed, trim is needed. You could top them if you want. I've seen people do that. I'm not going to. I want it to look more natural, but it will really form a dense evergreen screen with time. So this will be the, I planted them 2 years ago at this time, I believe. And the biggest clump wasn't even that size. It was probably about 2/3 that, and now they literally have dozens and dozens. So slowly filling up the space in between them. I think probably by next year. I planted them 4 feet apart on center of each clump, so I would say probably if you do that, it'll take you 4 to 5 years to completely fill them in, but up top it's much more filled in. Give you a close-up of the leaves. Thanks for watching.